Hi YouTube, Luminousz Star here. Welcome to my channel, Luminousz Star. Guys, at the end of the video, if you would please leave me comments and or questions, and also hit the like and or subscription button. Today guys, in this video, I'm going to be answering a question from a current subscriber. The current subscriber's name is Moxie Girl. She left a wonderful comment and she left an awesome question. So Moxie Girl, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and answer the question by giving or providing 3 points, and along with those 3 points, I'm going to be providing some examples. Okay, now at the end of the video, again, should you need clarity on any of the points or examples that I give, please leave me comments and or questions, and I will attempt to get back with you within 1 to 3 days. Okay, now to my current subscribers, thank you so much for your subscription. If this is your first time visiting Luminousz Star, welcome, and hopefully you'll come back again and see me as a new subscriber, perhaps? Okay. But even if you do not subscribe, I would love for you to come back and visit. Okay, here we go. Now, again, current subscriber, Moxie Girl, left me a wonderful comment and an awesome question. So I'm going to paraphrase the question, and it is, okay, drum roll, here we go. Codependent. Are you a codependent if you are a person who knows you have love, so you give it freely? In other words, you love others, you have a little bit more capacity to love than maybe some others around you. So naturally, it feels great to you to go ahead and provide that love, to support, to validate, to respect, to nourish in all of your relationships. This is something that comes fairly easily for you, right? Because you have love. You know you have love, so you give it freely without necessarily expecting the love in return. Great question. Now, a lot of people do ponder this, especially when dealing with a narcissist, right? So as we all know, narcissists don't operate from a place of love at all. They operate from a place of fear. That's my first point, right? I'm going to give 3. The first one is narcissists do not operate from a place of love. They operate from a place of fear. So if you are a person such as an empath, or again, someone who has a little bit more capacity, right, to love, to nourish, to care, to respect, to support people in your relationships, because this is something that feels great to you, and that's awesome, by the way, right? Because really, whether we want to admit it or not, all of us as human beings, we want the validation in every relationship we have. We desire the validation. We desire to be seen. We desire to feel loved, cared for, and nourished. That's where the validation comes in as well. So we all want this. We all desire this. I think as human beings, we're wired that way, to want the connection with each other, right? Right. So if you are a person such as an empath, you know, and that's, empaths, as far as I'm concerned, are beautiful. They have wonderful traits, right? So if you are involved in a toxic relationship with a narcissist who does not operate from a place of love, right? But you do. You operate from a place of love. The narcissist does not. That is instant conflict. Right there, you have 2 strong opposing forces that are just like this, and nobody is given an inch at all. So you're just locked and you're stuck right there. Nobody is given an inch. That's pure conflict. That's straight tension all the time. Now, you as an empath or a person who knows you have love freely and you give it freely without expecting it in return, then that's what's going to happen. No, I'm not trying to be insulting or anything. I'm just letting you know what you expect is what you will receive. So if you give love freely, and that's awesome, by the way, but if you really don't expect it in return, more than likely, you won't get it. So people like you and I who know that our origin is love, we know this. Narcissists, they make a beeline for us, right? Because they're not going to operate from a place of love. And when you operate from a place of love and you are involved with a narcissist, not romantically necessarily, But when you have a toxic relationship with a narcissist who does not ever operate from love, and when you are in a toxic relationship with them and you're giving love freely, okay, well, that's going to be the theme of the relationship, which is actually dysfunctional. Okay, so there's nothing wrong at all with having that, with expressing love. You know you have it. You don't expect it in return necessarily. You don't, but at the same time, you don't expect to be abused and suffer from narcissistic injury either. So when we come, first point again, narcissists do not operate from a place of love. They operate from a place of fear. Now, with that first point, I just gave the first example, which is when we are involved in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, since they don't operate from a place of love, they operate from fear, and we do operate from a place of love, not from fear. That is two opposing forces that are locked, and they are both ramming into each other. Nobody's giving an inch. So the relationship, which is toxic and dysfunctional with the narcissist, will constantly have conflict and tension. So really, issues will not be resolved. Conflicts will arise, which arise in every relationship, but they will not be resolved. The tension will seemingly always be in the air, right? So that's my first example with the first point. Point number 2. Define love. What is your definition of love? That's very important. Guys, I'm going to share something with you. On my journey, right, I had to learn. I had to learn exactly what does love look like to me. What is my personal definition of love? Because it cleared up a lot of things for me. It really did. Because once you know, first of all, that you come from love, that's your origin. Origin is love. Your origin is love, right? You know this. When your mom and your dad got together, that was by way of love, even if they didn't get along. I'm not saying that they were in love with each other necessarily and they really loved each other necessarily. It was by way of love, because love is that powerful force that makes it possible for all of us to exist on the planet. That's what I think. Everyone doesn't have to agree, but I think love is a very powerful force, right? That's what makes it possible for us to exist. So I say that my origin is love, and you may say that too. Your origin is love. So again, the second point is define love. Your personal definition, not what you think it's supposed to be, not what you think it should be. What is your personal definition of love? Because that's going to clear some things up for you. It really will. So as far as like the definition of love, it's going to vary from individual to individual. The example is this. When you have relationships with people, whether it's toxic or not, whether it's dysfunctional or not, whether it's volatile or not, you are interacting with another human being, right? Their definition of love probably will not match yours, but sometimes you meet people and their definition of love and your definition of love is pretty similar, right? Similar enough where you resonate with each other. So here's my example to point number 2. Defining love. Your personal definition of love is is point number 2. The example to that is this. When you're in relationships with somebody, if their definition of love is not even similar to yours, yes, more than likely, the relationship is going to be toxic and dysfunctional. Absolutely. Because think about it. Each person you meet, their definition of love will not necessarily match yours. We all have free will to choose for ourselves, right? What does love feel like to you? What does it look like? What are the models of love that you witnessed growing up from your mom and dad, from other people around you? How did they treat each other? Was there a lot of communication going on? Was there effective communication going on? Were people respecting each other? When conflicts arose, did people team up, come together and resolve those issues, whereas everyone walked away from the table feeling validated, respected, and loved? Everyone was heard, right? Or was it a dysfunctional family where everybody was off in their own corner, head down, not talking about what was going on inside? So if whatever your definition of love is, it's very important to get clear on it. That's point number 2 with example number 2. That more than like the example is if you're meeting other people and their definition of love doesn't even come close to your definition, more than likely you're not going to receive love from them. And I'll put it like this: it's going to feel like you're not receiving love from them. Okay? The final and third point: you don't have to earn love. You don't have to earn it, nor does anyone else. Love is something that is. So, yes, the subscriber who left the question, yes, love is something that is freely given. We all have it. The issue is a lot of us don't know we have it. We don't know that we are love because we don't realize that our origin is love. You got a lot of people walking around that don't realize that. Right? So once you realize and you get clear that you already have love, you won't tend to go and pursue other people for it. Naturally, more than likely, you're attracted because you're signaling love off. You're giving it. Whereas the narcissist is concerned, whereas the narcissist is concerned, right? Yes. Narcissists, they don't operate from a place of love. They operate from a place of fear. And guess what? If you are sending off signals of love, right? But you love yourself first and foremost, the narcissist is not going to come around you. They're not going to even want to be around you. So in the case of a person who knows they have love and they give it freely, are they a codependent necessarily if they are like that? No. They're not a codependent. They're not addicted necessarily. See, the last point again is, this is very important. Once you know you have love already, your origin is love, you're less likely to attract narcissists anyway. You know why? Because what consists of all of that, your knowing that you come from love, your knowing that you have love, is that you're automatically and naturally going to love yourself. You're not going to leave yourself out of the equation. See, codependents leave themselves out of the equation. So they're addicted to dysfunctional relationships, meaning, right, they don't love themselves. The codependent doesn't love his or herself. They're always seeking approval from the narcissist or any other person who may mistreat them. Because a codependent, they're addicted to always trying to get love. So that's the difference. I hope I answered your question. And guys, come back and see me. Until next time, take care of yourself. Mwah.